Hi, and welcome to this AI in C# video on agent framework. In this video, we're going to look at multiple agents, and we're going to use the agentic workflow with the pattern of handoff. So the agentic workflow handoff is that you have one agent start the flow and then pass it on to another one based on who makes most sense. And it is allowed to make that choice by itself. We have seen the same scenario in the manual via structured output, which is a separate video. But the idea is that we have an intent agent and ask a question that is either a movie question or a music question, and get some feedback based on that. So if you want to compare how you do it agentic versus more manual, you can check these two different samples out. But in this case, we are gonna make an intent agent, and we're gonna make a movie nerd agent and a music nerd agent. So nothing special. This one is just being instructed that it should not answer itself, but it should instead find the type of question. And then we build our workflow in that we are gonna make a workflow builder, and we are gonna make a create handoff builder with. And that one, we need to tell what should be the agent that takes the first turn, meaning who should start. And in our case, of course, it should be the intent agent, but it could have been if you had much more agents, it could have been whatever one that makes sense to do in that flow. And then we are telling here how can these agents give things to each other. So we are going here and saying the intent agent can pass it on to either the movie agent or the music agent. And the other way, we're saying the movie agent and the music agent can pass it on to the intent agent. So we are limiting the system here, saying the movie agent can never pass it on to the music agent, or the music agent can never pass it on to the movie agent. Had we needed that, we would have put in that either one handoff or multiple handoff. But in this case, it's just an intent agent back and forward. We could have made that we had an intent agent figuring out if it was a movie or music question, and then we could have had that go to a movie intent agent that could figure out if it was about a actor or actress or it was about a director. So these ones can flow out much more than in this simple sample. So they can become quite interesting if you have a lot of moving parts. I'm thinking a support system that you go to multiple steps up and down, and with fallbacks if nobody says anything and so on. That can be architected in here. But for this, let's just keep it to a simple one that is one gives another and then gives it back. So once we have that, we are gonna run our workflow, because I put it in a while loop so we can ask multiple questions here. So what's happening here is we are gonna check for who is the last executor, because we want to write out down here that now it's the movie agent speaking, now it's the intent agent speaking, and so on. And we are gonna use this in-process execution and stream async the workflow with our message, which is just our question so far. And then we're gonna watch the stream and see for the events. And one of the events that come back in this scenario is the agent run update event, meaning whenever it's writing something back, we can get back that, okay, is it a new agent? If it is, let's write out its name, else just skip this step. So again, the first agent will come back like 20, 100 updates with every single character, but it doesn't change the author name. So that's being kept, and we only write this out once. And then we all write out the text of the update, of course, the streaming part of the message. And then we are checking the update for content, and if any of the content is function call content, because the way this works is that the handoffs are more or less treated as function calls, and we will see that once we run it. And then it will tell, hey, the intent agent called the movie agent with the following arguments, meaning the question, and so on. And if it's a workflow out event, meaning one of the agents are done, we will just take its messages and hand it back to the system, so we have all the messages at the end. We're not really using them for anything, but if we need to log them or have a summary at the end or something like that. So let's try to run it and see what we, wrong setup here. Let me switch over to handoff instead. And let's see it. So we are gonna ask, what is that movie with the lightsabers? So the intent agent sees that. It says, oh, that's a movie question. So I probably need to hand it off to the movie nerd. And this is the call ID of it. And what you will see here is the hand-up reason is actually what it gives the other system. So user ask about a movie with lightsabers, which suggests they want information about a specific film, likely related to sci-fi or fantasy. And then that is actually what input the movie nerd gets. And the movie you're thinking about is mostly likely Star Wars. Yeah, I knew that. But that way we can get this. So I can also ask, who is AC/DC? Which the intent agent sees that it's a music nerd question, and user is asking about the band AC/DC, which is related to music, and it comes back and tells this. So this is a way, of course, and a very contrived way with only a music agent and a movie agent, but again, having a support system that needs to go into multiple branches and putting in detailed instruction, function calls, extra content based on what it is. This can easily be one of the more interesting ways of working, because this is a little easier to set up than the real workflows. That will take a little more work. So this is a fairly simple one, and actually the one of the agentic workflows that I see value in. Again, the concurrent and the sequential, not really seeing it, but this one kind of makes sense. So that is actually everything here. See you in the next one.